In this demo, we're going to create an extension method to concatenate a sequence of strings. Now, one thing I quite often want to do at the end of a link pipeline is to concatenate an IEnumerable sequence of strings into one long string, maybe separated with commas. Now, the .NET framework does have a method that can do this. It's called string.join, and it takes a separator and an IEnumerable sequence of strings that you want to concatenate. And you can see a very simple example of it in use here. But sadly, it doesn't operate as an extension method, and that means we can't put it onto the end of a link pipeline. So, for example, here we have the solution to our range expansion link challenge we looked at earlier on in this course. And we've turned this input, which is a string of number ranges, into an IEnumerable sequence of integers. Let's just run it to remind ourselves of what the output is. Now suppose we wanted to turn this back into a comma-separated string. Well, we'd need to first turn each integer back into a string, which we can do by chaining another select statement onto the end of our pipeline. But if we wanted to add another stage onto our pipeline that concatenates them all, that's really hard to do because there isn't a suitable extension method in LINQ or the .NET framework that we can use. Now, as we've seen a few times in this course, we could use LINQ's extremely flexible aggregate method to solve this, just like we did when we were summing time spans. But as we discussed in the last module, using aggregate often fails to express our intent very clearly. And actually, this solution you can see here probably won't perform as well as the built-in string.join method if we were concatenating a large number of strings. So a better approach would be to simply create a helpful wrapper extension method. Maybe we could just call it string concat, that allows us to concatenate a sequence of strings together with a separator, but as an extension method. And as you can see, the implementation is really trivial. It's just turning this existing static method of string.join into an extension method for us. But little things like this can go a long way to making your code more readable, as it now allows us to put this final step of the solution onto the end of our pipeline. So we can call this string.concat method at the end of our pipeline like this, and we'll get out a concatenated string. And of course, not only does this make our pipeline more readable, but this string concat method is going to be really useful in many places in our code. So now we've seen how easy it is to create extension methods, let's return to another link challenge we looked at in the last module and see how they can help improve our link pipelines.